Welcome back to another installment of Ken Arcanine Solo, and today we're tackling Generation 1. The reason for this is that I saw a comment under a video saying that Arcanine is one of the weakest Pokemon in Generations 1, 2, and 3, and since I've already soloed Generations 2 and 3, I figured I had to solo 1 and prove that Arcanine is not only one of the best Pokemon, but arguably, and I might be a little biased here, but the best Pokemon if you're going to run through those generations. Thank you guys so much for your support on my Ruby video. That got a ton more attention than I thought it was going to. A lot of comments, a lot of interactions, a lot of thumbs up, which is great. Again, anything you can do to comment, watch, like, subscribe, all that helps grow the channel and allows me to give you more Pokemon Challenge content. Remember to comment below if you want to see different challenges, if you want to see different Pokemon. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep running through these Arcanine challenges and keep going. So today we're taking on Red, and I've said in the past that I don't like Generation 1. Now, I want to clarify that. I played the crap out of these games when I was a kid, right? Absolutely loved them, but the lack of direction in them was really confusing. For a 5-year-old, and I didn't really get back to these games until I was older. I was 5 when they came out, so I played them, but I wasn't able to really beat them effectively because I'd get stuck in portions where it wasn't exactly clear what I needed to do. Or a great example of this is I didn't know how to get out of the house when I first started. I had to have someone show me that little mat there was a door. I had no clue that that's what that was. So again, maybe I started a little too young. By the time I hit Generation 2, I was 7, and so I understood a little bit better, and I think that's probably why I have stronger feelings towards Generation 2, and those advances in the graphics and the gameplay and fixing the glitches probably made me hate Generation 1 more than I should. I do run into a few instances of like the sleep being really annoying. I do run into the instances of Wrap and Paralyze being super annoying. Luckily, that only happens a couple of times through this run, and it doesn't end up being super significant. But I have had times before where like the confusion or the sleep or the paralysis and the Wrap, those things have ruined the game for me. And I think also playing on an emulator where I can speed it up and using a lot of repels made this game much more enjoyable. Because honestly, one of the things that's frustrating is how many times you run into Pokemon. Just the amount of interactions you have, the amount of trainers there are, skipping large portions of the game actually made it more enjoyable. And that to me doesn't feel good, right? If I can skip a chunk of the game and the game seems more enjoyable, maybe the game isn't the most refined. But again, if this wasn't as good as it was, I wouldn't be able to play Generation 2, Generation 3, and so on, all the games that I love so much. So I got to show some respect. I got to beat this with Growlithe and Arcanine, and I'm going to show them that Arcanine is not a weak Pokemon to run through. Right there, we win our first battle against Blue, and we're going to level up the Growlithe a little bit here. This is one of the things that can be a little frustrating at times, is the grind. I really only have to grind off of wild Pokemon for a little while, get myself up to, I think, about level 15. I get to level 10. Here are the stats real quick. So attack, defense, speed, special. I'll keep track of those as I begin to level up Growlithe, and you'll be able to see how he evolves and how much better he gets. But I jumped to Rival Battle 2 only getting to level 10, thinking that, that's a pretty good grind, right? I'm not spending too much time doing that. And he only has the 2 Pokemon at the beginning. And as long as I can avoid the Sand attack from Pidgey, then I should be fine. I go with the Bite, hoping to try, obviously, get the flinch, and it's my only attack. Pidgey goes with Gust. And again, Sand attack, as it is in every run, is so brutal because I'm not able to switch out, so those losses in accuracy stay. Now that second Bite, not getting a flinch or not finishing the Pidgey, is kind of huge because now I'm down to 23 health. And Squirtle's level 8. But getting that crit brings it back in. I did notice through this run that I got a lot more crits. I know there's some error with the crit rate in Gen 1. I'm not quite sure what it was. But I don't get a lot of flinches. So Bite isn't nearly as effective in this run as it's been in Generations 2 and Generations 3. But I beat Blue. I could have done without that battle, but I consider those necessary. After a little more grinding through Viridian Forest and that patch of grass just outside of Pewter City, I jump in and fight Brock. Now I do this at level 15, and honestly, this is where I expected to have the most challenge. I only have the one attack, and it's a normal, so it's not going to be very effective. The other option here is that I could have actually gone, if this wasn't going to be effective, I could have leveled up to level 18 and gotten Ember. I will say that that's a really high level to have to wait to get Ember. But because he's only raising his defense, and because Ember is a special type attack, even though it's not very effective, it would be more effective than my bite. So this is where things get a little bit sketchy, right? So I still have Onyx to beat, and I honestly wasn't thinking I had a chance until I got to this point, and I realized, well, I can knock him out. When he has Bide here, I do use Roar. Now, one of the strategies that I considered trying was using Roar like in Generation 2 and forward, where when they buff their stats and I use Roar, it swaps to their other Pokemon. And if it swaps to the other Pokemon, they lose those defensive stats. But Roar doesn't work like that in Generation 1. It only scares away wild Pokemon. So I can use Roar here, but the only thing that I'm doing is using it to avoid Bide. So Roar, while it's not as useful as it is in future generations, still plays a key role in going to defeat the Onix. Now I am going to run out of PP because, again, I only have the one attack. So I've got one bite left, so unless I get an absolutely massive crit here, which I don't, I have no more attacks. So now I have to rely on Struggle. So when you run out of PP for all your moves, then you end up having to use a move called Struggle. What's great about Struggle is that it is not affected by typing. So that way, it's not going to be a not very effective attack. So this should give me a chance to defeat the Onix. Now I am down low in health here, so now it becomes a race of can he lower my defense and do damage enough to me before I run out of Roars and before I run out of potions. The downside to Struggle, of course, is that it also deals damage to you. But getting those instances where I get 3 Roars off when he uses Bide is absolutely massive, because I burn through my PP and I know I'm not going to take any damage for 3 total turns. So I've used my last potion. I'm out of Roar, so now it becomes a race. If I can knock him out with Struggle, I win. But he uses Bide. Now this is a problem because no matter what, I'm going to deal damage to him. And he's going to unleash Bide, but it doesn't knock me out. Struggle did so little damage that I didn't have to worry about the knockout. So I am able to actually register my first badge pretty quickly. I thought this was going to be hard because of Brock, but he doesn't have any rock-type moves that are going to be super effective against me. That makes all the difference here, as I'm able to register badge number 1. Reason number 2 that I didn't want to do Generation 1 is right here, Misty. Misty is an absolute pain in the butt. With a water-type Pokemon and with Starmie having a second evolution form this early in the game means that she's crazy powerful. Right? Starmie wouldn't be a big deal for me in Generation 2 because it also has the Psychic typing and Bite is Dark type. But I am able to get through Staryu with just a single bite, or sorry, with 2 bites. I get a crit there, but here I'm going to run into a problem. I have too much health, and potions don't do anything. So Starmie is able to wipe me out with a Bubble Beam, and we register our first loss. But then it occurred to me, I don't have to keep fighting Misty. I can go and complete the rest of Bill's, go to Bill's house, beat all those trainers along the way, grind some XP, and then I can also go and pick up a Super Potion. If I beat and I go to Bill, I have access to the next city. I can go to their mart, and their mart has Super Potions, and that'll help me tremendously. But in order to get to Bill, first I have to get through rival battle number 3. We're able to get through Pidgeotto fairly well without having to really worry too much about incurring a ton of damage. But what I should have done here, because Abra's not able to use any moves other than Teleport, is that's when I should have used a potion. A regular potion there puts me back at full health, or pretty close to full health, and I don't have to worry about it. I get lucky again and bite crits on Squirtle. But as we see through that fight, I land crits, but I don't get flinches. I don't know what the reason behind that is, but it's fine. We're done with Rival 2, and we're moving on. After we visit Bill, we get our SS ticket, we unfuse him, all that jazz. We're going to start moving on. But before we do this, we need to fight one of the most important battles in the entire run. And this is against the Rocket, who stole the Dig TM. Now, if you're not familiar with why this is so important, it's because Dig as a move in Generation 1 is wildly broken. So let's take a look at how Dig is a little bit different than it is in future generations. So in future generations, Dig is only 60 power, but in Generation 1, it's 100. And when we look at the gyms that it's going to be effective against, it's effective against the 3rd gym, it's effective against the 4th gym, it's effective against Koga, which I can't remember if that's the 5th or 6th. I know I always do them out of order. It's effective against Blaine, and it's effective against Giovanni. That's massive. So we move ahead. We grab our super potions here. I was looking for full heals, but they don't have them there. And now I'm going to use Dig, another underutilized method. And, you know, I wasn't quite sure where I could use it. I thought I'd seen other people using it inside of buildings, but I guess it's only certain buildings that you can use Dig. But now, because I haven't healed, I can use Dig and go back to the previous Pokemon Center, and I'm back ready to fight Misty with my new TM. Now that I've gained a whole bunch of levels and I now have a new move set, I'm going to try and fight Misty again. Now, I'm not really going to need to use Dig all that much. Again, I should be able to two-shot the Staryu. I do get Water Gun, which is a little bit unlucky, but I still have 63 health, and remember, I still have those super potions. I use Dig against Starmie to avoid a Water Gun. That's huge. I do take another one, but now I can use my super potion, heal to full, and even if she were to get a crit on Bubble Beam, I don't think she'd knock me out. She goes with Water Gun again, outspeeds me with a Bubble Beam, and I'm able to survive. Because I'm able to tank it, I'm able to take her right out, and I defeat Misty. Now, I'm not sure why she was able to go first there, looking back at it, because I outspeed her with Dig, and I just go back-to-back on Dig, so it must have just been unlucky. But now I got the Cascade Badge, and now we're going to start talking about something that becomes super effective later on. And now that I have 2 badges, I'm able to start taking advantage of the badge boost. Before I dive into how the badge boost glitch works, I am going to pick up Body Slam on the SSN, and now we pretty much have what is going to be the moveset for a large portion of this run. Growlithe is able to use Body Slam the entire time. I think it's more effective than Takedown personally, because Takedown deals damage back to you. Body Slam does almost the same amount of damage. It's slightly more accurate. And now I'll be able to jump into this battle. Now, I don't have a move that's able to do it yet, but actually right there is perfect. So with the Sand Attack, that actually lowers my stats. Now the badge boost glitch works so that, well, now it's gone. But the way that it would work is if my stats are lowered, then at that point, I can use... It recalculates my my boosts for the badge. So in Generations 1 and 2, and I'm not sure if they do it in 3, but you're able to, as I defeat Gary there, or Blue, you're able to gain bonus stats based on how many badges you have. So Brock gives you attack. I forget what Misty gives you. I think it might be speed. But each of the gyms gives you a boost. If your stats are changed during a battle, it recalculates glitches and gives you additional stats based on your new lowered stats. And because I now have 2 badges, I'm able to do that. Now, for some reason, I didn't record the beginning of this battle, but it's pretty much what you see here, right? I dig, I knock out. The only one that I didn't one-shot was Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. And just like that, we're at 3 badges super easily. Now that I've beaten my way through the first 3 gyms, I now have the 4th gym. 4th gym is grass type. This is really good for me because now I have 2 super effective moves. Because Erica's Pokemon, as having a poison secondary type, also take additional damage from Dig. So Dig is super effective, and Ember is super effective. And if I'm using Dig, I can avoid a lot of their powders. I was hoping to avoid the Sleep Powder, and the reason I don't cure my poison here is because I don't need to worry about it. And this way, they can't put me to sleep, they can't paralyze me, which would cause more of a problem. The poison I can heal. The rest of it's frustrating. So again, the Pokemon that are with the poison subtype, they're super weak to Dig. So this is a really easy battle for me. Dig does a lot more damage with 100 physical, and Growlithe being mostly a physical damage type dealer, that beats out 2 Embers. So I'm just going to use Dig, even though it costs 2 turns. Now what's really cool about Generation 1 is you can just go to the department store and buy yourself a Firestone. I'm going to buy it now, even though I'm not going to use it now, because again, we want to wait to level 50 to get Flamethrower before we evolve. In each of the runs so far, I've talked about what I consider to be canon events, battles that aren't really necessary, but ones that I think are necessary to the game. So right here, I'm going to go and I'm going to fight the second gym in Fuchsia City. And this is a fighting type gym. Now, you're not going to be able to earn a badge from this, but I do think it's important for you to fight here. So I'm going to run through, and I'm going to be able to defeat the first one. But this is going to be hard for me because their levels actually match mine pretty well. Alright, so I didn't manage to catch it on screen, and I feel really stupid for that. But it happened so quick that I wasn't able to hit record before I got knocked out. But I decided to fight the gym leader, and on his very first attack, he critted me and knocked me out in a one-shot. And because I play the emulator at higher speed, I just wasn't expecting it. So I brought out Hitmonlee hit a rolling kick, it crit, and knocked me right out. So I used Dig here to try and avoid that, and I'm able to avoid any damage whatsoever this time around. Sending out Hitmonchan, I know that Hitmonchan has a little bit better defense, so he'll be able to survive. The Fire Punch is a really weird choice, given that I'm a fire type. 2 digs, haven't knocked him out yet. He goes with a Comet Punch. Now, this is one of the things I hate about Generation 1. So because the first one crit, every Comet Punch that lands, and he got all 5 there, every single one crits. They get rid of that in Generation 2, thank God, but that was one of the mechanics that I hate the most, and one of the things that came closest to knocking me out. So I'm going to grab a fighting type here so that I can have strength later. I don't end up using it, but I've always just liked Hitmonchan better. Now this was where I took a break in between recording sessions. I actually defeated this over 2 days, and I completely and totally forgot that I need to have the Sylph Scope. So I went to Lavender Town, and I went and fought rival battle. Is this 4 or 5? 1, 2, 3. I think this is 4. No, 5, because I forgot the one in the lab at the beginning. And so I'm able to push through Pidgeotto pretty quickly. A Growlithe, again, fire type, going to be weak to Dig, but that sand attack comes up huge. Right? This is why we try and avoid that at all costs. We don't want to miss things. Now, Execute, because it is a grass and psychic type, Dig's not going to be super effective against it because it's not the poison type, which is something that I forgot, but Ember is able to one-shot it. At this point, I'm crazy over-leveled compared to my rival. And again, I'm still making the mistake where on Abra or Kadabra, I should be using that to heal. I think by this point, by level 20, Kadabra has some attacks, but I should have just used a potion anyway. I hit the Body Slam on Wartortle, and even though it's using the water guns, and I've missed multiple times, I'm still able to get the KO there. I was playing with fire, probably, again, should have healed. But we're moving on anyway, and now we have to go actually back to Sylph to go get the Sylph Scope. So as it turns out, I didn't even bother beating the Rocket in the Celadon game corner. I just ran through the game so fast that I completely forgot that I needed to defeat him. So we go back, we two-shot because they're so far beneath me in level, and at this point the game is just so simple that I just went on autopilot and cruised through. I forget that you actually have to press the button, which is stupid, because obviously he had to press the button to get down there, so why do I have to press the button? But either way, I'm into the Rocket base. I gotta defeat them here before I can take them on at Sylph. So I get to Giovanni here at the end, and like I said, Dig is going to be super effective for me here. This is going to be a move that I'm going to keep throughout the game because 100 base power on a physical attack is really great for Growlithe, but also because I'm able to deal a ton of damage to Pokemon that previously I couldn't hurt. Right there, I one-shot Onyx. Now you'll notice I have Agility now. Agility is going to let me abuse this badge glitch without having to worry about them manipulating my stats. So I don't max it out. You can use a total of 3 agilities. I only used 1, but if I had maxed out, I was worried about Onyx using a rock type move and defeating me. But if I had maxed out, I probably would have even one-shot the Kangaskhan. But doesn't matter either way. Super easy win against Giovanni. We're moving on now to finally getting our Sylph Scope and going back to Lavender Town. If you're not familiar with why Lavender Town is so important and why I had to do all that Rocket stuff, get the Sylph Scope, it's because I have to defeat Rocket, foil their plans at the cemetery, so that I can put Marowak, the spirit of Marowak, to rest. That lets Mr. Fuji leave, and he gives you the Poké-Flute. Once you have the Poké-Flute, you can use that to wake up Snorlax, who is sleeping in the middle of the road, and then move forward in the game. So this really, really, really slows down the game. But I do think it's a good diversion, and it gets me a ton of experience. Now that I have moved on, or I'm able to stop their plans at Celadon, stop their plans in Lavender Town, now I can go all the way back to Fuchsia and begin to fight. Actually, that might not be. So I just realized earlier that I said the fighting gym was in Fuchsia, but this is because I do them out of order so frequently. It's actually Saffron. I have to go back to Saffron City in order to defeat Rocket again. And again, at this point, I should really go back and do the correct thing, which would be going to Fuchsia, I think, is the order of the gyms. But instead, I just run through Sylph because I'm so over-leveled it doesn't matter. I have my rival battle here again, and frankly, now that his Alakazam has decided to, be a real Pokemon, I'm running into some problems. It can deal damage to me, and Confusion is brutal. Another mechanic that I can't stand about Generation 1 is Confusion just seemed to hit so much more. But because he's so weak to his defense stat is so low, a Body Slam one-shots him when I finally don't deal with a Confusion. After defeating this last Rocket before Giovanni, I finally hit level 50 on my Growlithe. So if we take a look at the stats, 107 attack, 73 defense, 94 speed, 89 special, which are decent stats, and 151 health. I now have Flamethrower, Dig, Agility, and Body Slam, but now it's time, now that I'm at level 50, to evolve. I now have Arcanine. Let's take a look at those stats, and I'll show you just how good Arcanine is. Everyone talks crap about Arcanine. I'm sick of it. Check this stat boost. I'm now at 186 health, 147 attack, 108 defense, 129 speed, and 119 special. Yeah. You try telling that Pokemon he's not a good Pokemon. With this absolute beast of a Pokemon in tow, I'm now going to fight Giovanni again. And remember, Dig is going to be super effective here. Brings out Nidorino, Poison subtype, but who cares? I'll just use Flamethrower, right? People say, oh, he's not that good. Wrong. Now, I probably should have set up an Agility beforehand, and that would have allowed me to again one-shot the Kangaskhan. But you can see how much damage I'm doing, where it doesn't even matter. I missed the Dig randomly, but one-shot the Rhyhorn again. Sends out Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is weak because of the Poison subtype, and immediately a crit and a one-shot knockout. Barely any damage from Giovanni, and has Pokemon that could be very effective against me. And if an Earthquake had landed, maybe I'd be in trouble, but I'm not. We're on to Sabrina the Teenage Witch here, and I'm still rocking just 2 losses. Technically, the next gym is supposed to be Fuchsia, and I'm supposed to be fighting Koga right now, but if you actually look at their Pokemon, the levels don't exactly match, but they're the same total number of levels between all their Pokemon, and they both have 4. So I'm able to pretty much just waltz through this. The reason being that they have low defense, and Venomoth is super weak to Flamethrower. When she brings out Alakazam, same difference. All I needed to do was outspeed him, and I'm able to one-shot my way through what is supposed to be the 6th gym for my 5th badge. Now, if you're curious why I grabbed this one when I do, it's because I was actually getting close to the level cap where Arcanine would no longer listen. And so if I fight this, I get up to level 70 as a cap. So this means that I have still a lot of growth before Arcanine is able to ignore what I'm saying to them. So this saves me a whole lot of trouble. Remember when I said that Dig was going to be super important for this run? Well, here's one of the reasons why. Koga, being a poison type, all of his Pokemon are weak to Dig. Now, this does eventually get solved for Coughing. I think Coughing ends up with the Levitate ability, so it wouldn't be impacted by Dig. But in Generation 1, no such luck. So I'm able to pretty much just one-shot his Pokemon here without any ifs, ands, or buts. Muck, even how sturdy Muck is, doesn't matter. Coughing, that's going to be another one-shot. Easy peasy. And even bring out Wheezing, it's not going to matter. One-shot City. Didn't take a single bit of damage. And because they go for those poison-type attacks, if they can't land anything on me, it doesn't matter. And even if I was poisoned, who cares? I can just heal through it. Now, I do get Toxic, and this is one that I did consider teaching Arcanine. But again, I can't give up any of my attacks because I need them for coverage. And I can't give up Agility, otherwise I wouldn't be able to take advantage of that badge boost. In later gens, I have no problem getting rid of Agility, but I do need it here in Generation 1, so I don't end up making that much use of Toxic. After getting through the Safari Zone, getting the Surf TM, finding the Warden's Teeth, getting Strength, and then going through the Pokemon Mansion to finally go find the key to the gym for some stupid reason, I'm now ready to take on Blaine. So I do start with an Agility here, because I am worried that his Rapidash is going to outspeed me, but gives me that badge boost. I'm able to one-shot the Growlithe, the Ponyta, no problem. Rapidash is going to come out. I'm able to outspeed and one-shot, no issue. I level up, so I lose the badge boost here. Right before Arcanine, but it's Arcanine versus Arcanine, and the one with the super effective move is going to be the winner. And so now I'm up to 7 badges with just 2 losses. I thought this was going to be the hardest generation for me, but to be honest, with how strong Dig is, this ends up being a very, very easy game for me. And again, we'll quick fly back. We're at Viridian. We're going to fight Giovanni. And yet again, Dig is going to be massively important. Again, I just ran Dig through Gym 4, Gym 5, Gym 7, and Gym 8. So half the badges, I'm able to use Dig. Now, I do set up the agility boosts here because I know that Rhyhorn can't do a ton of damage to me. And immediately one-shot the Rhyhorn. Dugtrio can be really fast, and this is why I go with that speed boost. Flamethrower is neutral, but still, because I have all those boosts and, frankly, a bunch of levels, this is all going to be one-shot City. So again, if anyone ever tries to tell you that Arcanine is not a good Pokemon in Generation 1, it's because they don't know how to use him. If you're using Dig, you have super effective into 4 gyms. Oh, and Gym 3, so that's 5 gyms. 5 of your 8 gyms you have super effective attacks against. And even his super sturdy Rhydon, I 2-shot. Right? If anyone tries to say that Arcanine is not a good Pokemon in Generations 1, 2, and 3, they're lying to you. Definitely he's the strongest in Generation 1, and this is the one I thought I was going to have the problem with. He struggled the most in Generation 3, as we saw with that damn Walrein. But, so far, no problems whatsoever in Gen 1. On our way to the Elite Four, we're stopped one more time by our rival, and we're going in for our second to last battle. And this always confused me why you would defeat him here and then he ends up being the champion. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but whatever, it is what it is. He brings out the fully evolved Pidgeot, and it just doesn't matter. At this point, I'm one-shotting anything that so much as looks at me. Rhyhorn, super weak to Dig. Oh, Growlithe, that's cute. Guess what you're weak to? Dig. Done. 3 Pokemon. Now I'm at level 60. We got Execute. Flamethrower takes care of that. Alakazam is the one that could be tricky. I outspeed, I body slam, and it's Curtains. Brings out level 53 Blastoise. Raises its defense. Before body slams gets the work done, I don't even take a single bit of damage. And I'm onto the Pokemon League just like that. So as I jump into the Pokemon League, again, if you remember my Gen 2 run, the person that I had the most problem with was Bruno. But I see the, quote, Ice-type leader, And we know what that means. It's going to be water. And maybe I had a little bit of a flashback. The reason I tried to run back was I forgot to put the other Pokemon away. And I only wanted Arcanine in the final screenshot to say, hey, this is the only champion. But, hey, mistakes happen. Now, with this, I am able to run through what I really should have done in retrospect is when Dugong uses Rest, that's when I should be using Agilities to make or take advantage of that badge boost. Slowbro is going to be the most challenging for me because I don't really have a good answer for him. Being Psychic and Water, none of my moves are going to be super effective, and he's able to bring his defense up so high, and a Water Gun does a ton of damage to me. I'm able to work my way through, get to Nicki Minaj, and a simple Flamethrower melts her makeup and takes her out. Then we go into Lapras. Lapras is water and ice. But, ooh, close. Hydro Pump is such a massive attack, but it doesn't finish me off. I get lucky. I probably shouldn't have done that. It doesn't take half, so even if I don't finish, I survive. I still feel that Body Slam, that looked to me like it was half damage, but I could be wrong. And what's interesting here is she uses Super Potions. I'm used to full restores, but I guess that the Elite Four in Gen 1 was a little broke. Maybe because Blue went through before me and they used them all then, but now we run into Bruno, who was my biggest enemy in Generation 2. That stupid Machamp knocked me out more times than I would hope. And here I'm going to use the Agility because I know I just leveled up recently. So I get 1 stack, and I 2-shot the Onix. Hitmonchan comes out, and I hit it with a Body Slam. 2 Body Slams. I guess I didn't just level up because I just lost the badge boost. But I'm able to 1-shot Hitmonlee with a crit on Flamethrower. And really at this point, because I know that he's going to go with the X Defend, I probably should, again, be building that badge boost. But a simple 2-shot to Onix, that leaves me with Machamp. Honestly, not too bad. Flamethrower does a ton of damage, and I work my way through. Maybe that was a strategy I should have used in Generation 2. That's what I get for playing Gen 2 first. So now I'm going to heal up before I have to deal with the third Gym Leader. I'm going to make sure that the PP is restored on all my moves. Not third Gym Leader. Sorry, third Elite Four. And this is Ghost types. So Gengar, one of the problems that I'm going to have with Gengar is that it does outspeed me. So I try to set up the Agilities because I know there's a second Gengar. But Sleep is just so damn annoying in this Generation too. Between Sleep, Confusion, Paralysis, and Wrap, this generation just has so many things that are unfun. They just take forever to fall off. And then it can confuse me on top of the fact that I'm asleep. So even when I wake up, I'm going to be confused. This battle is honestly the epitome of what I hate about Gen 1. I've been asleep forever. I wake up, but I don't get to take action. And the confusion is still there. She withdraws the Gengar to put in the Golbat, brings Gengar right back out after I heal, and then that way I don't have to eat another attack. So I'm full health. Gengar, the first Gengar, is done with. The Body Slam paralyzes. Wow, maybe it paralyzed my tongue. Confusion's finally gone, and now we're left with weaker Pokemon. The Flamethrower runs through Haunter in 2 shots. The Arbok is going to be weak to Dig because of that poison typing. And last is going to be Gengar. Now Gengar, even though it is poison type, if you don't know, in Generations 1, 2, and I believe 3, Gengar had the passive Levitate, so he couldn't be impacted by ground type. So even though he is weak to the ground type, you can't hit him. So that's what made Gengar so powerful in that early generation. Alright, this is a pretty smooth run. I'm not going to save just in case that I lose, so that way I can reset. But I'm at Lance, our Dragon Trainer, and I've been able to run through the Elite Four without the issues that I've run into in previous generations. Now, Gyarados, that's scary. I do something probably unwise and set up the badge boost, but I'm really just trying to one-shot the Gyarados here so I don't have to deal with him. I'm not able to do it. His Hydro Pump doesn't kill me, so I heal the full. I Body Slam a second time, and he's gone. So, alright, the first threat's out of the way. Now, Flamethrower is not going to be super effective against Dragon types, so I'm going to stick to the Body Slams. The Body Slam is huge in the paralysis. Hyper Beam hits me, and again, because I have that turn, I should be using it to set up agility. These are things that I need to improve in my runs and just improve as an overall trainer. But I'm like, I can see the end. The end's in sight. I'm running through it. I'm having no problems whatsoever. And I know that I can defeat him. I do give myself the badge boost there, and I go with Flamethrower. I know it's not going to be super effective, but I'm just trying to weaken him without healing. He uses Hyper Beam. It doesn't kill me. I heal just in case I miss, because I know that I have that free turn. I Body Slam, get the crit, and Lance is cooked. The Elite Four, just like that, first run through, no problems whatsoever. But now I have to go fight Blue. He's the current champion, even though I just beat him less than, 10 video minutes ago? Less than probably 15 minutes ago real time in the game. Oh no, because I had to get through the stupid victory road. So less than an hour ago in game. And I still have to go in and fight. So I'm going to make sure that I have as much PP as I can. I've got to fill up with Body Slams and Flamethrowers. And then we're going to move on. This is the last battle here. I feel like I smoked him last time, so this really shouldn't be too much of an issue. This guy is the champion of yapping, I'll tell you that much. I do like the redesign when he is champ, though. I think that's a really cool design. So I go for the agility here. Again, kind of a risky play, knowing that he could sand attack me. But I am able to sweep through that Pidgeot, no problem. One shot is Alakazam. But now the badge boost is gone. This is where I probably should have used an agility again, even though Rhydon could have a move that could take me out. This is probably the best idea. But again, I'm at the end of the game, and I'm feeling overconfident. Roar does nothing. Two-shot Arcanine. Should have one-shot him if I'd used the badge boost. Flamethrower Executor doesn't kill him. Two shots does. Again, if I badge boost, that's done. Body Slam. And, oh, there's a Hydro Pump, but doesn't kill me. Still okay. He only has 5 of those, so he can heal out. He doesn't use it a third time. And he lands an unlucky, or I guess for him, a lucky crit. That knocks me out and takes me to my 3rd loss. So this time I actually remember to use the 8 rare candies that I've been sitting on for the entire game. I never used them to get me to level 50 to speed up my evolution process for Arcanine. But I decided to use them now, and I absolutely run through the Elite Four with no issue whatsoever. And now that I know that I have that higher level and I just hit 72, I got to not have to worry about the leveling up mid-battle. And so I start off with the agility to keep 1 stack. I now have 2 stacks, and now I have all 3 stacks of agility. So that's the most you can use to the badge boost glitch. I think that their tail whip, the use of tail whip by Rhydon there also impacts my stats. I'm not quite sure how that math works out, but I know that you can cap at 3 agilities. And once I have the agilities and the additional levels, I'm now doing exactly what I said I would, which is one-shotting those Pokemon. I use the Body Slam on Blastoise, and I almost, without a crit, one-shot. And now, with those rare candies I acquired, with the badge boost glitch, with everything that I have worked for this entire time, built up that move pool set, which again, you can get pretty early with the exception of Flamethrower and Agility. You get Dig and you get Body Slam really early in the game. So anyone that says that Arcanine is not a good Pokemon is wrong. Anyone who says that Arcanine has no good moves is wrong. And I've just now proved it in Generations 1, 2, and 3. I want to thank you so much if you're still watching at this point. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next time. I'm super happy to be done with Generations 1, 2, and 3. I'm happy to move on to Gen 4 if that's what you want to see, but if you want to see something else, let me know, and I will consider that. This time I did remember to put all the other Pokemon away, so my Hall of Fame stays untarnished with Arcanines only. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.